What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. We have made it to another day of the week, which means it's another day of Quita in the mornings, guys. Hope y'all are excited about it because with Quita in the mornings, it's called that because my name is Quita. It's the morning, and we're going to have a good time talking about the game of women's basketball. And on deck today, all roads lead to the WNBA, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the transfer portal, a lot of stuff going on in women's college basketball. However, the transition is beginning as the WNBA is about to take center stage, and I, for one, am super, super excited about it. The WNBA is here. Last year was a fantastic year for the WNBA. We saw records up the wazoo. We saw a awesome WNBA playoffs, which led to a crazy finals battle between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty, where ultimately, controversies aside, the New York Liberty were able to win the WNBA championship. Their first ever after making it to the finals so many times. They finally actually got a chance to win a WNBA championship, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, it was a big year for the WNBA last year, and this year, we are set for likely an even bigger year. Okay, so I hope y'all are excited about it. Okay, so ready? If you're ready or not, hey, don't worry about it. If there's a lot of stuff that you don't understand, don't worry about it. Today, I'm gonna give you all just about everything you all need to know about the 2025 season. We're going to talk about some key dates. We're going to talk about preseason games. We're going to talk about why some draft picks just don't make it. We're going to talk about what to watch when it comes to the training camp and a whole lot more, okay? Because also, guys, remember, training camp starts tomorrow. Wild, I know. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your iced latte, whatever you drink, grab it, and let's talk about some women's hoops. But first, we got an early super chat. All right, we got a super chat. Hold on, let me get to this super chat. Repeat Tour, aka Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I'm still mad Minnesota got hosed. Yeah, a lot of people are still mad about that Minnesota and Liberty series, and that's why I put Courtney Williams on like as the graphic. That's why I put her as the graphic, because that was a very controversial series for a lot of people. But hey, at the end of the day has to end and a champion has to be crowned, and that champion was the New York Liberty. Okay, so let's break down some key dates. So some of y'all may be like, okay, I heard the preseason starts tomorrow, but like, what else is happening? I don't know what else is happening. Well, here's what else is happening. Guys, the training camp for the WNBA officially starts tomorrow. Why exactly it starts on a Sunday, don't know, but I feel like usually training camp starts on a Sunday, very randomly. But anyway, guys, this is very, very exciting. The WNBA season takes full effect tomorrow as preseason actually starts, okay? So that's something that is happening like right around the corner, meaning right tomorrow. So the WNBA training camp starts on April the 27th, aka tomorrow, Sunday. And we also have the regular season that tips off on May 16th. All right. And the WNBA has decided to lean in on rivalries. They're calling it Rivalry Week to start off the WNBA season. And on opening night, we will see Caitlin versus Angel, because that's supposedly a rival. So, Rival Week will be headlined with the Sky versus Indiana. But the WNBA season fully kicks into gear May 26th when regular season begins. All right. We also have the Commissioner's Cup tournament that is going to run from June the 17th or June 1st through June the 17th, with the championship game on July the 1st. The Commissioner's Cup is when teams play against is when teams play against their conference, and then you see who's the best. So it's Eastern teams versus Eastern team, Western teams versus Western teams. It's a in-season tournament, mainly just to spice things up and to keep people entertained for longer in that type of vibe. And that's from June the 1st through the 17th, and then the championship is actually on the 1st of July. All right, and then in July, we also have the WNBA All-Star Game as well. A thing to note, you have the WNBA All-Star Game in Indiana this upcoming year, and I will be there. I'm still waiting for tickets to actually go on sale for that, but I will be there, okay? So All-Star break is from July the 17th through the 21st, with the actual All-Star game on July the 19th, again, in Indiana, or specifically Indianapolis. All right, the regular season will continue on from there until September the 11th, when the regular season fully wraps up for the year, and playoffs start on September the 14th, just right around the corner from there. And the finals the finals could go as late as October the 17th. All right? Okay. So those are some of the key dates, okay? And the thing to remember, guys, is that the WNBA season is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If, it is a short period of time, but also a very long period of time as well, as we cram through 40 plus games for each team in just the summer. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and don't worry if as we go through the WNBA season, I will be here literally every single day, letting you all know what in the world is happening. Okay. So as the season goes on, it's long, but we're going to be here, okay? We're going to be here keeping you all up to date. Thank you so much, I Care Too, for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Salute to you. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I Am says, thanks so much for the super chat, says, did you hear about Kennedy Carter signing with the Mexican Basketball League? I did not hear that. That's news to me. I was not aware of that. But I'll look it up. I'll look it up after the stream is over. And if that is the case, I will talk about it tomorrow in tomorrow's stream. But I have not heard that. All right. Okay. So I have seen a couple of questions about preseason. So let's actually just go through preseason stuff real quick. So before the regular season begins, we actually get a couple of preseason games that are going to be absolutely fire. So here's what you all need to know when it comes to the WNBA preseason. All right, so the WNBA has a preseason schedule. Preseason games, I should say, kick off. Remember, training camp starts tomorrow, April the 27th. Preseason games start this upcoming Friday. All right, so on May the 2nd is when the preseason games begin for the WNBA. We will have the Dallas Wings play against the Las Vegas Aces. That game will be at Notre Dame. Again, as I said before, me, Mama, Daddy will all be excited to watch that game together. We also will see the Brazilian national team going against the Chicago Sky. That game will be at the PMAC. All right, that game will be at the PMAC. We also will see on Saturday, May the 3rd, we will see the Washington Mystics versus the Indiana Fever. On May the 4th, we will see the Brazilian national team against the Indiana Fever. We will also see the Connecticut Sun against the Seattle Storm. On May the 6th, we see Minnesota versus the Chicago Sky, the Sparks versus the Golden State Valkyries, Phoenix versus Vegas, May the 7th, we have Atlanta versus Washington. May the 9th, we have Connecticut versus the New York Liberty. On May the 10th, we have Indiana versus Atlanta, and the Toyota Antelopes versus the Dallas Wings. We have the Chicago Sky versus Minnesota Lynx, and then we wrap up with 2 more preseason games. We have on May the 11th, Golden State versus Phoenix, and then we have the Toyota Antelopes versus the New York Liberty. Those are the games. But let's be real for a second. Training camp and these preseason games is not a celebration for everybody. It is a battle royale. And shout out to Julie for becoming a channel member. Salute to you, Julie. Thank you so much for your support. Anyway, guys, training camp, these preseason games, it is a all-out battle. It is the Royal Rumble. It is the battle royale. It's pick your WWE term, right? Here's the cold hard truth, guys. The WNBA has 13 teams. Last year they had 12 teams. Last year, the total maximum number of players that could play on a roster on opening day, it was 144. That was the maximum. This year, guys, it's 156, right? It is 156 total roster spots that can happen. But many teams will not carry 12 players on their roster, right? Each team can carry a maximum of 12. Many teams won't even do that. We will see a significant number of teams carry only 11 players due to saving money under their salary cap, which means that 38 players got drafted in the WNBA draft this year. 38 players, 156 maximum players on rosters. Do the math, guys. The odds of the players, and I know I'm showing the graphic for 2024, but you get the point. You get the gist. The math is brutal. Last year, I believe there were only 13 players who made an opening day roster. 13 rookies, I should say, who made an opening day roster. The year before that, I believe it was like 15 or something like that. It was like 15 2 years ago. It was 13 last year, I believe. And this year, we're going to probably see similar numbers, if not lower numbers. Just because you get drafted to the WNBA does not mean you are able to ever play in the WNBA. Some players even get cut before their first preseason game. You know, some players may not even make it to a preseason game. We'll see a notification that they're cut before that. So again, remember, 156 total roster spots. That would be if all 13 teams had 12 players on their roster. That won't happen. There will be some teams that will just have 11 because of salary cap. So that 156 maximum goes down as teams, decide, actually, we can only afford 11. So it makes it a lot harder to actually make it in the WNBA as a rookie, especially if you are a second or third round pick, because some of the first round picks are even getting cut before the WNBA season starts, right? It is not impossible to make a WNBA roster, but it is steep. It is very, very, very steep. But here's the thing. If you are a second or third round pick, all hope is not lost. Because you do have some players that were able to fight for a spot last year. Remember, Kate Martin, she's an 18th overall pick. She was picked up. She was someone who was picked up by the Las Vegas Aces in the draft. But not only was she picked up, she actually made a roster, and so she was on a roster as a second round pick. Players like a Dejanay Carrington, Natasha Cloud, Sophie Cunningham, all second and third round picks who turned into stars in the league. We all know how great of a defender Dejanay Carrington is. She wasn't a first round pick. We all know how great of a point guard Natasha Cloud is. She was not a first round pick. These are players that were seen as not as good as some of their other competition in the first round, and yet we see players like a Dejanay, Natasha Cloud, Sophie Cunningham still on a WNBA roster, whereas some of their first round cohort people, some of the people who were picked earlier than them in the first round in their respective year drafts, those players been out the league. Some of those players didn't even make a roster that year. So it's not all about where you get where in the draft you get placed. It's how you make yourself of value to the team that drafted you. Because just because you're second or third does not mean you have to get cut. And just because you're a first round draft pick does not mean you will actually make a roster. Okay? And guys, don't worry for those who are like, oh, there's 20 people on a roster right now. Who's gonna make the team? Don't worry. I wanted to do this stream as a level set. And the following morning streams will be a deep dive into the training camp players, who's likely to get cut, who's likely to make a roster, and blah blah blah. So okay, so we're gonna do that in the following streams. Okay. So I'm not gonna talk about specific players who will and will not make it. All right, but the thing to note, the thing that is pretty awesome, because there is some good news on the horizon. And I called it hope on the horizon, because the good news is change is coming eventually. This year, the WNBA added the Golden State Valkyries to the WNBA, so they start play this year. And next year, the league is expanding to Portland, team name still unknown, and Toronto, who will be called the Tempo. These are two teams that will begin play in 2026, which is going to add 24 more roster spots to the WNBA. So the pipeline is going to be opening up a little bit. So if you're a rookie on the bubble this year, well, maybe you get cut. But your time may be coming, just not today. Maybe it's next year. So maybe you just have to go overseas, work crazy hard, and then try to make one of the expansion teams when that time comes. So, what are some of the biggest things to watch for this WNBA season? Well, there's narratives up the wazoo. One, you got Paige Bueckers and Enrique Gumbawale. Are they going to be lighting it up in Dallas? Question mark. You have the Avengers that have been assembled at Indiana. Are they going to be able to make it happen, right? You got Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson. You got some big time seasoned vets that have assembled at Indiana to join forces with the likes of Caitlin, Kelsey, and Aaliyah. You bring in a top-notch head coach in Stephanie White. And oh my goodness, I really do call them the Avengers, because they really are a hodgepodge assortment of some of the best in their various skill sets coming together in Indiana. What is Indiana gonna do? That's the question. That is a huge question. Okay. We have the Golden State Valkyries. They're a brand new squad this year. They're making their WNBA debut. They don't have a marquee star right now. Are they going to be trash, or are they a future treasure in the league? You got Kamilla Cardoso, who is coming back for a second year, right? She's bringing some serious firepower. She will be bringing that to the Brazil versus Chicago Sky game, which is preseason game, which is going to be pretty fun. But how does her development continue this year for the Chicago Sky, especially with the addition of a true point guard who likely will be able to easily give her the basketball? Will the New York Liberty be able to repeat for a championship, or will the Minnesota Lynx still have that huge chip on their shoulder, get back to the championship, and this time win it? So many narratives, so many things that we just don't really know. You got a new day in Phoenix with Satu Sabli Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Kappa about to do their thing. You have the new look Las Vegas Aces who add in Jewel Lloyd from Seattle. There's so many things that have happened. So many things that have happened during free agency. And I'm just interested to ultimately see how it all goes down. This year, I'm predicting that the WNBA blows up even bigger than they were before. We got some new stars coming out of college. We got some previous stars that got better. We got more talent added to the league, more media attention likely, and we have an absolute stacked schedule with the most games in WNBA history that's about to happen this year. So, if you are not on board yet, get on board, get in line, and get ready. Because if you're not, you're gonna be left behind. Because the WNBA season is about to get here fast, and it's about to be fun, and it's about to be fast and furious. But don't worry, I will be here literally every single day of the WNBA season, letting you all know what in the world is happening in the world of the WNBA, who's doing what we see coming down the pike, and all that good stuff. So I hope y'all are excited about it. Okay, guys, that's the stream for today. That's the stream. I wanted to make a stream that's just sort of like level set. I just wanted to level set of like, some of the things that you all should know going into this WNBA season. Now, tomorrow we'll actually start the deep dives into each team. I'm going to go through every single WNBA, every single WNBA team. I'm going to talk about who is going to be making, who I think will likely make a roster, and who will not. I'm going to give some predictions about what these teams will do, all that good stuff. So join me tomorrow for Quita in the Mornings for a live stream as we talk about the first few WNBA teams and what's going on with their rosters. All right? Okay. So, again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. That's been the stream. I don't have anything else to say. Anybody else have anything else to say before we call it quits? Yesterday, I had to do a live stream around the news about Miles Agent Full Wiley, and because of that, I was planning on today walking through the actual rosters, the full rosters and whatnot, but because of that live stream, I didn't have enough time to act because I do a lot of work like the day before, like the night before, of what I'm talking about the following day for that morning. And so because of yesterday's impromptu live stream, I was not able to get all my ducks in a row for the roster discussion today. All right. Peg says, what time tomorrow? Tomorrow at 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 Eastern Time.